Amazon is a huge enterprise that makes billions every year and grew 84% in 2020. Some scammers have capitalized on its success and have found ways to deceive Amazon customers for their own gain. Today's guest is Shaahin Cheyene. Shaahin is an award-winning entrepreneur, investor, speaker, podcaster, writer, and filmmaker currently based in Los Angeles, California. He is the CEO and chairman of Accelerated Intelligence, which is an Amazon marketing and advertising agency. He shares his passion for Amazon through his course Amazon Mastery and is also a featured mentor at the Founder Institute. Shaahin has been highlighted in many publications including Newsweek, the New York Times, Chicago Tribune, and the New York Post. I'm your host, Chris Parker, and this is the Easy Pray Podcast. Shaahin, thank you so much for coming on the Easy Pray Podcast today.
So good to be on, Chris.
So you are one of the world's most sought-after Amazon experts. Can you, before we start talking about Amazon scams, how did you become an Amazon expert?
Well, I started when I was really young in physical products. I developed a supplement in the early 1990s when I was like 16 years old, and the whole rave scene was happening. And by the time I was 18, that company was making over $1 billion in revenue. I, in fact, remember the day where we broke $1 billion in revenue, and I was this teenage kid just sitting there, worried about the fact that the press was going to ask me how much $1 billion was, and I actually had no idea if it was 100 million or 1,000. I had no clue. So back in the day before the internet, we had to get books. I had encyclopedias, and I kept looking, and I was like, fuck, man, this doesn't give me any information on how much $1 billion is, because like British billion, American billion. So that was my days with Herbal. I've written a book about it that'll be released in a little while. And after that, one of the things, that I also teach my students, in my Amazon Mastery program is that, I realized that you have to look at distribution. Distribution is the most essential thing in any business. So we looked at films, for example. There's a lot of really, really bad films that make it to the market. I'm sure you've seen one of those films where you're like, fuck, dude, I want my 2 hours back. Right? Like you would probably pay to get your 2 hours back.
Yeah.
But how did that film make it to the theater? And equally, there were probably, for every one of those bad films, there's probably 100 great ones that somebody made, that were actors in, that we never saw. Right? Have you ever discovered a film where you've been like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why did I never hear about this?
Yep, I've run across those.
Yeah. So the difference we discovered, turns out, is distribution. So what we teach is distribution first. So we start everything, like you and I were talking about earlier, with foundational thinking and building these 4 pillars that we could talk about or go into whatever you want to. But once the pillars and the foundations are built, we start with distribution. We look for what the market wants and we feed it what it wants, which is a much easier path than creating a better mousetrap and hoping that the world is going to try to make its way to your door.
Yeah. That's always the challenge is if you're building a product that everybody else is already selling, to get someone to want to buy the better one. Okay. So we'll start off talking about some Amazon scams. And with Amazon now, what, are they $1 trillion company now?
I think something like that.
If they aren't $1 trillion at the time this is recorded, by the time this is published, they'll be a $5 trillion company. With the pandemic, they have seen exceptional growth in sales. I see more Amazon trucks delivering in my neighborhood than UPS, FedEx, and DHL combined. And that even excludes the Amazon Flex drivers who don't even have an Amazon sign on the side of their car. So yep. Amazon is just crushing it right now. But anytime some entity is crushing it, the scammers just come out of the woodwork. So I want to talk about a couple of different types of scams. First of all, I want to talk about the scams targeting Amazon customers, so people who are buying products from Amazon. What kind of scams have you seen from your experience as an expert targeting customers?
So do you mean by just random people targeting Amazon consumers?
Well, Amazon, yes, where it's either random scammers targeting Amazon consumers or people pushing fake products and scammy stuff into the Amazon platform itself.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things about the Amazon platform and kind of where we thrive as an education first company, helping people think foundationally about building Amazon businesses is that anybody can sell on Amazon. It's what makes Amazon great. Most people don't know this because when you go on Amazon, you look, hey, okay, buy now. You click buy now and the product arrives at your door. You don't think twice about it. They ask you, hey, where'd you get that, that thing? Where did you get that product? And you'd be like, oh, I got it on Amazon. And that's it. That's the sophistication of 99.9% of people.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is that buy box button, it's called the buy box, is gifted. You are blessed with that button. Amazon will hand that to you and bow their heads. Here's the greatest gift we are giving you to a seller, a third-party seller that's selling the product online. Now, when somebody clicks buy now, they're buying it from you and not Amazon or one of the many other sellers on there. Now, as sellers realized that this was happening, sometimes what happens is that unscrupulous sellers will sell a counterfeit product, or maybe not even counterfeit, but maybe just a similar product, thinking that you won't care. Mm-hmm. So if it's a brand on there and you don't know what that brand is, the Acme brush, they're going to sell you a generic brush that's basically the same thing. And they know that there isn't much difference and you're not really looking for the Acme brand. So when you order it, they have their ways of getting that buy box, usually price. If they have a lower price, Amazon wants you to have a good customer experience. Mm-hmm. And they find that when people get lower prices, they're having a better customer experience. So they're going to be like, hey, the China company is selling it for 3 cents less. Let's give them the buy box. Now you've bought your brush hoping you would get the Acme brand, but you're getting a generic brush. Now, this doesn't seem like a huge scam, but the Acme company, which is a seller that's gone through all the trouble of building beautiful images, telling a story, buying inventory, putting it on there, is getting the short end of the stick. Now, if the China company that's selling on their listing, which Amazon is allowing them to do, is selling an inferior product in order to get that 3 cents value, right? Because a lot of times margins are real thin, so they might sell an inferior product. The China company isn't going to be affected that much when you leave a bad review. It's not their listing. Yeah. The Acme company, the company that owns the listing, is the one that's going to be targeted. And you as the consumer are going to get a crap brush. And most of the time, if it's under $10, people don't really bother returning it. Yeah. So it's one of the more common scams out there that consumers oftentimes will not be aware of because they'll just be like, it was $10. I got a crap quality brush, whatever.
Is there something consumers can do to spot when they are buying from someone else's where it's a different seller as opposed to the original brand seller?
Okay, so really good question. So what can you do? So the first thing I would do is read the reviews. Why? Not because reviews are entirely trustworthy. And we can talk about reviews and how those work. I'm happy to lift the veil of how sellers get those and how the unspoken rules work in Amazon reviews. But read the reviews so you can see if currently there's been any activity on the account that may lead you to getting a less than authentic product. I'm a avid mountain biker, and I go mountain biking, every few days in the mountains here in Southern California, which is gorgeous. I don't know if you have anything great in Orange County, but
that we do.
You do? Okay, amazing. Yes. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll come down. We'll ride out there. But so we ride up in a little place called Brentwood. And, I'm often buying stuff for my bike. So I have a rule that in general, I only buy where I can brand name stuff. If I'm buying pedals, there's a great company called Crank Brothers. I buy all my stuff from them. Now, I may pay a little bit more, but I know because that company is a real brick and mortar brand that I'm going to be getting a certain level of quality. Now, can I get a counterfeit product? Sure. But if it's truly counterfeit, meaning that it has that brand on it, and it is not that thing, Amazon will promptly refund you, and then there'll be a lot more trouble for them. Mm-hmm. More likely, what will happen is somebody will ship you something that looks exactly like that, but something will be off. The second thing that you can do outside of buying regular, known brands, is to Google the company's name. If you don't find a website, or if it's just a templated website about that product or brand, chances are it's just an Amazon brand. Now, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad. If it's got majority good reviews, the price point is right, and they've gone a long way to tell the story of the product with the images. There's a video, there's a story there on Amazon. It could be okay, but it's just another red flag that they don't have information about it anywhere else. Would be something that might be of concern to me. Like, why don't they have a social media page, right? Why don't they have Instagram? Why don't they have, isn't anybody posting about it on Pinterest? In general, one of the great things about Amazon is their return policy.
Yeah.
So if you do get a product that does not live up to your expectations, Amazon will take it back 99% of the time. And you should return it, not just for the sake of returning it or because you care about the $10, but because then that gives Amazon feedback that there is something wrong with that product. And if they get enough of those, Amazon will cut the product. So it's a good way to go.
Yeah, I know for myself, I just recently bought a washing machine stabilizer feet. Keeps the washing machine from bouncing around. On a product like that, I could care less whether it was Acme, or China, because it was. Right. It is purely a widget, and as long as the widget does what it's supposed to do, I don't really care. I did have a situation where I had bought I was looking for a security camera, an outdoor security camera for my house, and I bought a couple of them, and a few, it was probably about a year later, one of them started work. It just didn't work right. And so I called up the manufacturer, said, hey, I bought the camera through Amazon and it's not working right. No, what's the serial number? And I give them the serial number and they go, well, that's not really one of ours. Or that was one that was, it's not supported in the United States. That one was sold for South America. So sorry, we're not going to help you. The firmware update fried it. Goodbye. And so how are consumers supposed to figure, when it's gray market stuff, I refer to that as gray market, when it's product destined for a different country, ends up in the U.S., is there a way for consumers to be able to spot gray market products?
Yeah, so the first indication is if the price seems too good to be true, it probably is. With that said, one of the hacks, I'll tell you, I do this podcast too called Hack and Grow Rich, where we talk about all kinds of cool hacks that you could do. One of the hacks that most people don't know, and I don't know if some Amazon police is going to break down my door right now for telling you guys this, is that 90-something% of the products that are sold by Amazon warehouse as ding and dents are brand new. What happens is pallets of stuff go missing at Amazon all the time. They've got robots, they've got low-paid employees. It's complete chaos within a very sophisticated system. And they don't have time, if a pallet gets misplaced, for somebody to stop and check it. What happens is it goes to the misplaced pallet room, and once every couple weeks, dude comes in and checks them, and they go into Amazon warehouse inventory. Now, the seller gets credited. They pay the seller. They just cut a check and give it to the seller. The seller is paid, so the seller is fine. But then that product just gets resold. They can't sell it as new, so they'll sell it as Amazon warehouse. So if you ever get an opportunity, and it'll tell you on there the condition, minor defects on the packaging, minor defects on the box. I have never seen a minor defect on any box. I think it's just a story they tell so the vendors don't get mad at them, and they sell them through Amazon warehouse at a discount, A, because they blow it out and they make the profit twice on it, and B, because that way the vendors don't say, hey, wait a second, how did you get a pallet of new security cameras? And do that. So, look, as a consumer, price is a big factor. Yeah. So you want to try to buy when you can from Amazon itself. Their refund policy is the best. You'll have the right warranty, all that stuff. The second thing you can do is register your warranty immediately when you get the high ticket item, the camera, the hard drive, whatever it is. That way you will know within the return period, if they're not going to accept it, that there's something wrong with it. And oftentimes, Amazon will just refund you without you even having to return the item. Another secret. I'm sure the Amazon police is banging on my door right now for telling these. But again, it's a business of efficiency.
Yep.
Now, when we're talking about scams, unfortunately, there's a lot of savvy scammers that are onto scamming sellers like us and you and other, third-party sellers on Amazon. And what they do is they will order a laptop and they will return a sock. And they will say, this sock did not work. And most people who have these high volume Amazon businesses see that as the price of doing business. And Amazon will always side with the consumer.
Yeah.
Now, in recent days, there was a couple couples, and I think one of them was in Orange County, where they had ordered did you hear about this? They ordered like $1 million worth of stuff and like returned fake and broken stuff and thought they were getting away with it until the FBI knocked down their door.
No, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah. So there was a couple. It was like a husband and wife, and they were doing that kind of thing. I'm not sure how their scam exactly worked, but I think it was they were returning broken items, like millions of dollars worth of stuff, and keeping the new ones and reselling them on eBay or back on Amazon. And they got busted. And Amazon's cracking down on that. And in fact, if your return rate exceeds the profit that Amazon makes on your account, they will fire you as a customer. So you have to be aware of that. These people were very sophisticated. They had multiple buying accounts, the mother, the uncle, the sister, everybody was buying flat screens and returning them, that kind of thing. But they caught on to that. But a lot of times, like just the other day, we represent, I represent a lot of clients in corporate America who come to my firm to accelerate their Amazon brands, as well as I teach a lot of people who start from zero and build the foundation, build their Amazon brands, how to succeed on Amazon. And just the other day, one of the brands that we had is a really high-end line of glasses. And I could actually say it's sleep doctor glasses. It's this guy, Michael Bruce, who's like the sleep doctor. He's amazing. He's written the book. He's been on Dr. Oz, all that stuff. And so we represent his line of glasses, which are these beautiful, super expensive glasses. You put them on, they're blue blocking, they help you sleep better. They're glorious. And we got a refund back. And because it's COVID, some of the returns are actually coming to me at home, which I'm not happy about, but my garage is filled with stuff. And I'm like, all right, let me open up a couple of these, right? Maybe I'll just like give them as gifts. Because sometimes people just don't open it. They return it for whatever reason, right? The wife ordered it. The husband ordered it. They got two. They don't want one. Whatever gets sent back. We deal with it. So I opened one up and it had the package for beautiful glasses with all the stuff that was on there. But the glasses were dollar store sunglasses. And I thought this was very amusing. I took pictures of it and, we sent it to them, and I think they investigate. And I think what they do is they put a little tick, they flag that account. So if it happens more, I don't know how many times more it happens, then what they'll do is they'll take that person off Amazon. But in general, there's a lot of people who want to take advantage of the system, and I think you get that in any business. And, truthfully, even with our business, we don't have the resources to go after every single person. And oftentimes, even if I know somebody is doing something like that, I will have the tendency to see it their way and even just send them a free one because it's a story that they're going to tell. Yeah. And that may turn into, good karma, good customer service. And, at the end of the day, it's less friction.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of if you can fix a customer's problem, even if it wasn't a real problem, they are a better advocate for your brand than a satisfied customer. Yeah. Because you fixed a problem. A satisfied customer, you just fulfilled your obligation.
That's right. There's no reward for doing what you're expected to do. You are correct. So, after the Herbal XC business, where I invented this pill, $1 billion in revenue, I decided I wanted to change the smoking industry. So I invented what now is digital vaporization. I had the patents for it. It's now a publicly traded company. And we invented all of the technology that led to modern vaporization and everything that you see out there. And one of the interesting things was early on in that process, and this was a fantastic business because it was totally blue ocean. We were the first and only one on the market. You could smoke or you could use our device. And we had a lot of early adopters that loved our product. And we had this guy, and this was like earlier days of the internet. It was like, in 2000, 2001, I think I started that company. And this guy, because so we sold extended warranties, which, by the way, we made more money on the extended warranties than we made on the item. It was a $399 item, and it was a $99 lifetime drop it in the pool warranty. This guy bought the warranty, and he would videotape himself doing all kinds of ungodly things to this device until eventually in every video, the device would explode. And we would get a call from him demanding a refund. And finally, I just picked up the phone, and he was shocked that, the president of the company picked up the phone. I said, "Hey, bud," I said, he's like, "I want to," I said, "Hey, we refunded you. Not only that, I sent you a box with 5 new items. I want you to test them and make more videos and let me know how they go." And he would do it. He blew up every single one of them. It took him a few months, and every few months we'd send him new ones. We refunded him all his money and all his warranty, and we actually got some press on this. It was all over the news that this guy was doing this, and it was great. And that's actually one of the ways that our product got the attention of a producer on Regis and Kelly. And that's how we got on Regis and Kelly, and that product blew up, and the company became a big public company, and became a big success story at the time.
It's almost like taking bad PR and making it good PR.
That's right.
I was totally thinking of Blendtec, a company that sells blenders, and their marketing is all about shoving the latest product in it and turning on the blender.
Oh yeah,
as a great way for people to go, the latest iPhone, will it blend? And they'll drop it in this blender, and I'm like, that's totally what this guy sounded like to me. But good publicity for the product.
Yeah. I'm trying to think which one I use. We use this thing called the Vitamixer that I bought in the 90s. Like, you buy it once. Have you ever had one of these things? You buy it once. This thing will outlast the apocalypse. It used to have a lifetime warranty. I don't think they have it anymore. It was like $750 for a blender. You'd be like, fuck, man, I'm going to spend $750 on a blender. You just buy it once, and it's like from the 1950s. I think you could put a laptop in there and it would blend it.
Solid as a rock. It will blend like chunks of metal.
Yeah. It's that 1950s kind of, mentality of like, let's make it from steel and metal and made in the US. And you don't get that anymore because people looking for low price, the high cost of low price.
And that's the challenge with people often making their purchase based purely off of the price and not thinking about, well, why is this product 90% off? There's got to be something, come on, companies can't make money if their product's 90% off unless that's built into the product. But, that's always got to be something that customers should be alert of. Whenever something's super, super discounted, there's something going on.
Sometimes companies have to liquidate.
Yeah.
Sometimes, so we could talk about reviews. Sometimes
let's talk about reviews.
Yeah. So it comes to no surprise to most people that reviews are gamed. The biggest companies do it. So you can look on the list. I'm not going to mention any names because a lot of them may be our clients. But from A to Z, the only way you can get reviews on Amazon is to violate their terms of service, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying we do this. So if anybody's listening to this on Amazon, I'm not saying that we violate terms of service. We follow all terms of service like the Bible. Not that we believe in either of those things. But with that said, the terms of service on Amazon say that you cannot do anything to solicit any kind of a review for your product. Now, savvy companies understand this. And in the very early days of Amazon, people would just leave fake reviews. So they would start an Amazon account, John Smith, they would maybe buy a product, maybe not, and leave a review. So Amazon thought, hey, you know what? We are going to make reviews verified. And the only way to get a verified review is if somebody purchases it. So now you couldn't be John Smith. You had to be John Smith with a credit card and buy the product. So people got around that, prepaid credit cards, all kinds of systems where they opened up fake accounts and, maybe they got a bunch of prepaid credit cards and they left reviews. Well, Amazon got smart to that. And they said, well, we are no longer going to go for that. So they required a minimum, which was $50. So now you had to purchase $50. The account had to have a certain standing. They put in security algorithms over time, which detected if a person was really a buyer or if it was a fake account. And they installed, super sophisticated things. And, even to the point that we discovered of them installing things that listen to your microphone that can hear the spinning of your hard drive, because each hard drive has a unique sound when it spins, and that is a fingerprint, and they could identify each computer that way, so they would know if you're leaving more than one review for a computer. And then, savvy people got around that, and there's Russian hackers and Bangladeshi hackers that figured out ways around that. But eventually Amazon, they clamped down pretty tight. So it became very difficult for sellers to get fake reviews. And by that, I mean completely erroneous reviews. Yeah. We never did completely erroneous reviews. It was against our policy. I just didn't believe in it. So the other way where you can get reviews, which is what happens more likely than not now, is you can purchase product from one of these discount clubs. And there's several of them out there. And what these clubs are is manufacturers and sellers that want to get reviews, and they will give you the product for free in exchange for a review. Now, how that works now is that you have to buy it at full price. What that does is it improves their ranking, because on Amazon, the more you sell, the more they push you up to that coveted page. So if, for example, you're looking for security camera, you put in the keyword security camera. Amazon doesn't want to feed you. They know you're not going to go past the first page. They don't want to feed you a bunch of results that aren't selling. They want to sell you the top selling things. So in order to sell on Amazon, you have to sell a lot. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. So what these sellers do is they'll say, you know what? This camera cost me $69 to make. I'm retailing it for $3.99. I'm going to give it to you for $40. I'm going to give it to you for $20. But you're going to buy it at $3.99 and you're going to leave a review. When you leave that review, you're going to send me a screen capture, and then I'm going to refund you that money, either in an Amazon gift card or a prepaid credit card, or I'll just give you cash for it. And there's a lot of companies that do that now, and that's one way that sellers get reviews. So it is somebody who's purchased the product, possibly somebody who's used it, and possibly somebody who's leaving an honest review that may or may not be skewed by their incentivization. Okay. The other way that reviews happen is that there are services out there that will give you product at a discounted rate. And it's based on, we do a lot of the work that we do where we teach people how to sell on Amazon is based on the work of this one professor, Professor Cialdini. Have you ever heard of him? Yep. He wrote the book Influence, and his subsequent book Persuasion. He talks about these 5 elements, now 6. But the 6th element of the foundation of influence, of being able to influence someone, is reciprocity. Right? If I give you something, you feel obliged to give me something, right? If we're sitting around, I'm like, hey, bud, here's a beer. You're like, oh, great, man, here's some peanuts, right? That's just the way things work, because that's reciprocity, right? It's a silly example, but it's true. So I think that, ultimately, the way that those reviews work is that you get a good enough product. So maybe you get that security camera for $99, Chris. And for $99, you're thinking, hey, this is a pretty good deal. I got a $400 camera for $99. And because I got that camera for $99, I'll leave them a good review. And you leave a review, you're not being incentivized. So this remains within terms of service. We're not incentivizing you in any way to leave a review. We're not asking you to leave a review. We're just giving you a product at a very steep discount. So in those ways, a 90% discount is possible, an 80% discount is possible, 100% discount is possible. Now, what you're supposed to do is to disclose that you were incentivized to leave that review. And anytime we do a promotion like that, we demand that our people do write that. Now, Amazon frowns on that. And if you do that, the review could be taken down and the account could be closed. So that is the catch-22 for sellers. But the problem is, Chris, in these marketplaces, if everybody is not playing by the rules, you're not going to get ahead unless you do what everybody else is doing. And it's not black and white. It's varying levels of gray to kind of get it to, where you need to get it to. And people do leave honest reviews and, people do buy the product. But on Amazon, the incentivization to leave honest reviews is very low. Less than 1% of the products that are sold on Amazon get reviews organically. So think about that. So when you look at a product and it's got 20,000 reviews, 40,000 reviews, and you multiply that by, that percentage, you'll see that it's not natural for that level of reviews.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have received products that I bought from Amazon, and inside the manufacturer packaging is a little yellow piece of paper saying, "Hey, go ahead and leave us a review on Amazon, and we will send you a gift certificate for like $10." And I'm like, Amazon definitely has not been opening these packages because they would not be allowing the seller to do that.
Right.
And it always makes me go, "Oh, let me go back and look at those reviews. Like, I wonder how many people have been taking them up on that offer."
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that has, 10% effectiveness, down the line. It's like pulling teeth, right? Yeah. If you called up 100 of your friends and family and asked them to leave a review and you saw how many of them actually complied, in the most optimistic cases is like 20%.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard. There's so little incentive for people to do that you really have to have an incentive. And then here's the other secret about these people. Most of the people who are doing that aren't just usual consumers. Most of the people who are getting those products at those steep discounts and leaving reviews are professional resellers. And they're getting those products for free and reselling them for a profit on a different platform or on the same platform.
So they're getting the product at a super steep discount and then turning it around, selling it on a different platform, maybe below list price, but well above what they paid for. And so they're making money off of it.
Yeah. I mean, look, we make millions of dollars selling products on Amazon. We've got the number one selling matcha tea called Matcha DNA. We sell milk frothers. We sell kitchen knives. We sell everything on Amazon. And we almost exclusively sell on Amazon. We have one account on eBay that we sell through. But every time I go to eBay, there are hundreds of sellers reselling our stuff. And a lot of it is like food products, supplements. Like, it's not stuff that you would sell used.
Yeah.
So where are they getting, these products? Something to think about, So I see our stuff popping up all the time in third-party marketplaces.
I actually do have an answer for that. How that happens. My wife works for a company, and I won't disclose too much because she doesn't like me talking too much about it. But they sell products, and every now and then their sales distributors will call up and say, "Why is your product available for like less than I can buy for it through when I buy it directly from you guys? Why are you selling it to the public for less than I can buy it for?" And the company's like, "Well, we don't sell direct to the consumer. All of our sales are done through retail channels." And the consumer's like, but look, someone complained to me about it. I turned around and bought it, and it shipped straight from your warehouse to me at this price that's below my cost. What the heck is going on? Well, it turns out through some digging, what's happening is there's a third person involved who's running the scam, that you go to Amazon or eBay and buy the product well below price. They turn around and buy it from the manufacturer using a stolen credit card.
Oh.
And drop ship it to the consumer.
Jeez.
So the consumer has that feeling of reciprocity because, hey, I got this great product for well under market. I'm not going to say anything when there's a funky name on the receipt that's not my name on it.
Yeah.
And the Amazon or the eBay, they don't care because as far as they can tell, it was legitimate. The manufacturer ultimately is the one who ends up paying the price because someone's going to dispute the credit card charge when they see this.
Yeah.
I didn't buy anything from Amazon, or worse yet, I guess my wife bought something from Amazon and they don't dispute the charge. But if they dispute it, the dispute goes back to the manufacturer. And so the manufacturer has now shipped the product and they don't have the product and the credit card's been disputed. And you've created like a channel disruption because people are thinking that you're selling to other channels cheaper than other people.
Man, you're talking about straight criminal activity.
Absolutely criminal activity. Yeah. But like this stuff happens in scale because you could buy stolen credit cards all over the dark web, and it's the manufacturer who ends up, eating the profits.
There's a guy who does a podcast on that who's fantastic called the Darknet Diaries. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard his stuff? Yeah,
yes, I have.
He's spectacular. And there's also a show. What is it called? Oh, yeah. It's called American Greed. Have you ever watched that show?
Yes, I have.
I never understood how people that are so bad at crime choose a life of crime. And it's like, I'm just watching this and I'm like, dude, like you got it. You putting in all this energy and like you could actually start a business, but no, you're doing crime. And I'm like, he's keeping a notebook. Why are you writing down your crimes? Don't write down your crimes. And then in every show, you can time it at like 37 minutes. It's like, cue the hookers. And then the hookers come on. You're like, oh my God, don't tell the hookers what you've done. Oh, he told the hookers what he's done. And it just escalates. And I'm just like, how could anybody be so bad at something? You could do something else. Do something else, please. Because they're so good at like these other things, but crime, they're just not good at. So, I never, I guess it's just not within my psyche to want to take advantage of people. I think, there's people who maybe they come from a place of like deep lack and like a place of, very low self-worth, low morals, low integrity, where they feel they have to take advantage of other people in order to get ahead in life. And I guess that there's people like that. And maybe there's other people who, I think it's like kind of the Russian hacking mentality. Nothing against, I've got lots of great friends that are Russians, but it's kind of this like very Eastern European kind of like us against the big corporations, the big capitalistic system. So their concept is that they're the underdogs and it's only the corporations that are getting hurt from this kind of thing, and very similar to the scam that you were suggesting. So I think that's really interesting. So when I was 17, I was on the cover of Details magazine, and it was a crazy story. I write about it in my book that's going to come out. And actually, that's the picture. Pretty cool, right? That was a cover from Details magazine. And me in the 90s with long hair. And so they send this reporter, and the reporter comes down. And this is the thing, it was like my life wasn't as nuts, visibly as nuts, as kind of like what I think everybody expected from a guy that was running the ecstasy company. And the reporter comes down, and you know what? Like I was living up in the mountains in this place called Topanga, and I had some fancy cars. I had a Ferrari, and I had all that stuff. But I was focused mostly on my business. And this guy comes down. He's like, "Okay, so like what kind of drugs do you do?" And I was like, "I don't really do drugs, dude. I gotta like run a company. I've got 200 employees." And he was like, "All right, so you race your cars down the mountain?" I was like, "No, not really, dude. That's a $100,000 Ferrari." Like, no, I'm going to go like at noon to look at the house up the street, right? Because I want to climb the real estate ladder. Like I'm looking to buy that. And, And so the dude was just like, he just couldn't get it through his head. Like he was so like, he really wanted me to like do some really bad things. And I just wasn't doing any really bad, like everything I was doing was to the dismay of the government, but it wasn't illegal, which was the thing that was getting about me, was like, here's this like long hair kid, but like there's nothing, he invented this drug, but it's not illegal. It was driving him nuts. And at the end of the day, the article came out, and it depends where the magazine came out, but I was on the cover with Chris Cornell, who was the lead singer of this group called Soundgarden, which was this amazing group in the 90s. I don't know if you knew them. And on the cover, I remember it said the $350 million scam.
Oh.
And it was a 10-page like explicit, like there was one paragraph on Chris Cornell and 10 pages on me. I mean, pictures and all this stuff. And I read through it, and I remember giving it to my girlfriend at the time, giving it to my secretary, giving it to everybody. We had secretaries back in the day, giving it to people. I'm like, read this. And nobody could find out where the scam was. Just the headline said the $350 million scam, because we made $350 million on one product in that year. So it's the $350 million scam. I just remember thinking to myself, like, really? Like, this is the best you can do? Like, there's so much crime out there, so much bad scams. And like, that's what they wanted to do. But, I realized that I would never have been good at crime. So I refrained from that. But I think there's a lot of guys out there in the criminal world that just, dude, they shouldn't be in that world.
What scares me is the people that are really talented at it, really good at it, who don't get, like, they're good enough at it that they're not the guy who's telling his hooker about his scam, that he's like, right. Nope, I'm going to keep this on the down low because I know I don't want to get caught. And if they're not doing the drugs, they're not, living the high profile lifestyle. Like, you wonder if these guys are ever going to get caught with whatever crazy stuff they're doing, whatever scam they're running.
Yeah.
So one final scam concept, and we'll wrap it up here. I know there's tons of people that go out there promoting, hey, buy my $10,000 system, and you could be making $1 million by selling your products on Amazon tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that not everyone who's promoting a selling technique or a process is a scam, and not everyone is telling the truth. So if someone is interested in learning how to sell on Amazon, learning how to have Amazon fulfill their products for them, like, where's that balance of real information versus smoke and mirrors?
Yeah. So like you and I were talking about this earlier before, we came on the podcast, so there's been this phenomena of promoters holding shiny things in front of people that like chasing shiny things. It's the Insta culture that, we've all become accustomed to. And particularly young people, in particular young males, are attracted to that, particularly millennials, who are like, dude, I want a Lambo and 3 girls in a bikini on a hot tub on a yacht, and I want to do that, and I don't want to work a lot, so this sounds great. And these gurus, the guys that do this kind of stuff, will have a tendency to latch on to whatever the hot thing is of the day. Crypto, selling on Amazon, Shopify, drop shipping was what it used to be, right? Back in our day, it was 900 numbers. Do you remember 900 numbers?
That I do.
There's so many guys selling 900 numbers and 900 number scams. So, I sell, full disclosure, I have an Amazon course. I handpick every single one of my students. I have 100% success rate, meaning that 100% of my students successfully launch an Amazon business and make money so far. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but so far we've had that thing. And the reason is because we teach foundational thinking. Mm-hmm. I don't teach get rich quick, right? You could get rich quick. It's a possibility. It's my favorite way to get rich is quick. But unfortunately, the more likely scenario is that you'll get rich slow, right? Yep. Or you will create several streams of recurring revenue that can lead to a pretty good lifestyle. Like I know you have a online business, a website business that brings in a good stream of revenue, and then real estate, and then all these different types of things. So what I like to teach my students is that in this day and age, you have to be invested in real estate. Okay, when the market is up in real estate, right, it's not a good time to buy. So it's a better time to invest in another kind of real estate. And e-commerce is one of those ways, and selling on Amazon is really that. Now I'm going to go into your question in a moment more in more detail. But having an Amazon business that will create a recurring revenue stream is not something that you have to pay anybody for. And this is the first thing I tell people. If anybody's interested, I have a 1-hour course. It's free. It's everything you need to know. I charge $0 for that. Okay. So you need to know nothing to launch an Amazon business other than what you can glean on the internet for free, or I'll give you a video for free that you can watch and learn how to do that. You need to know a little bit to be able to succeed at it. And if you want to really like take it to the next level, you can gain all that information for free. You don't have to spend a penny doing it. I myself have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in doing that. I buy all the courses from all the gurus. I attend all the seminars. I've got people who do all that. We watch all of it. We put it, the elements that work, which are, believe it or not, very few from all these courses. You would be amazed at how many of these $10,000, $30,000, $50,000 courses have zero actionable information, like that you couldn't have gotten from a $9 Tony Robbins book in them. But at the end of the day, learning how to start a business, and particularly an Amazon business, you have to think about it more like starting a new career. And by doing that, you can choose to go to a university or a school, and you will have to pay for that. So there's nothing wrong with paying for knowledge and paying for this information, right? Yep. But the problem is, when you have somebody whose main line of business is selling you these products, these courses, and their guruism, and the guy's got a crypto course, he's got an Amazon course, he's got a Shopify course, he's got a dropship thing, maybe he's got a little 900 thing on the side, little tiny ads. You remember that guy? So, that guy is making his money selling the courses. We make our money on Amazon all day, all night. Love it. Love what I do. I've talked to Bezos before in the past. We've talked to all the Amazon leadership team. We do this for Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies, and that's where I make my money. I teach on Amazon. I teach people how to win on Amazon and make money on Amazon through my FBA seller course, because I want to empower people to become successful. And now the difference is our group is a mastermind group. So what that means is that there's a group of people in the same place as you or me or anyone else starting at all different levels, and everybody pools resources. We pool learnings, and we all learn from each other, and we're constantly helping each other grow and expand. And we're very small. We're under 100 people right now. Everybody gets direct attention from me and my staff and my company. So what a lot of these other courses will do, and some of them are good. I've seen a couple out there that are decent. They're not cheap, but they're decent. But what a lot of these other ones will do is they'll give you a lot of online information, and you may or may not succeed. And if you fail, it's your fault. And they have an upsell for that. And the upsell is always, you need me to direct coach you, or you need me to create the product for you and do this because you couldn't do it. It's not my fault for not teaching you right. Or they're like, thank you very much for the 10K, sayonara, dude. So I think what may be more helpful to your viewers and listeners would be how to pick a good, how to pick a good coach. And so my first piece of advice for you is starting off is that you don't need to pay any money for it. There's great information online that you could get for absolutely free. If you just want to get a base understanding, open up an Amazon account. Those things are free. It doesn't cost money to open up an Amazon account. Now, if you want to take advantage from somebody else's experience, you're going to have to pay them for that. Yep. So make sure that that person is an experienced seller. Make sure that they've done something in their lives. So one of my great teachers used to always tell me, success leaves clues. And that's something that's always resonated with me because, living in Southern California, I'm sure you've seen it too. We talk about them all the time, the $30,000 millionaires, right? The guys that show up, talk a big game, and then you Google them, you're like, dude, if you made that much money, why can't I find anything about you? Why are there no like real articles? Why is there no, there's no traces of who you are? Right. So Google people, right? You can Google me. I invite all you guys to just Google me and you'll see Newsweek, Time Magazine, Nightline, all that stuff. You'll see that stuff. And I'm not just saying that because of me. I'm saying that because you can trace somebody's success trajectory and their past by just searching it nowadays. So if a dude is like all of a sudden the end all be all Amazon guru, where have you been, dude? Right? So check that. So that's the first way to prevent any of that kind of stuff. And, again, for if it's okay with you, I'll give you the link on the show notes to any one of your listeners that's interested in selling on Amazon. I have a free 1-hour course. There's zero obligation. I'm happy to share that link with them. And it's in 1 hour, everything you need to know to start and launch an Amazon company and take it from there.
That is totally awesome. We'll make sure to link that in the show notes. If people want to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Yeah, so it's ShaahinCheyene.com. I've got a few different ways to get a hold of me. So if you want to learn about the course, get the free course, or reach out to me, I answer all emails personally. It may take me a couple of days to get back to you, so please be patient. But I do respond to everybody individually, personally. Learned that from Seth Godin, who's one of my absolute favorites, who I know still does that to this day. One of the great authors. The book, Billion, How I Became King of the Thrill Pill Cult, is the herbal ecstasy story, will be coming out soon. So we haven't released it yet, but I have a podcast by the same name. You guys can listen to the first chapter on an audiobook. I have my own podcast, Hack and Grow Rich. You can follow me there or just go to ShaahinCheyene.com, and always happy to be of service to you or any of your viewers.
Totally awesome. Thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time today, Shaahin.
You rock, Chris. So nice to meet you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Easy Pray podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please leave a review at easypray.com/review. Notes and a transcript of this episode with Shaahin Cheyene can be found at easypray.com/63.